Hello, everybody. Today we're reacting to Thomas and Friends Peace and Quiet. So, without further ado, let's get started. I do not own Thomas and Friends. Mattel owns everything. And I'm sorry I wasn't able to do Saturday's video. I was completely exhausted and tired and busy that day. I have to get ready to do some editing of certain videos for someone. They want me to edit their videos to put together and send it back to them to work on. So, yeah, let's get started.
Goods arrive night and day at the docks. Sometimes Henry and the other engines work so hard that their axles ache.
Well, it would be surprised.
Sir Topham Hatt brought in a new engine to help with the heavy workload. He was long and had 10 drive wheels. He looked very strong.
Isn't that Merlin?
This is Murdoch. He's going to be pulling freight on the main line.
I don't know why I mixed Merlin and Murdoch. Oh my goodness, I mixed those two up.
Ahoy, matey! Shouted Salty. Welcome, Murdoch, called Harvey. You're the biggest engine I've ever seen, cried Thomas. You're a chatty lot, Murdoch said quietly.
Hey.
Soon Murdoch was coupled to a long line of heavy freight cars. His boiler strained, his wheels started to turn, and the mighty engine chuffed away. Murdoch longed for some peace and quiet. But everywhere he went, it was noisy and crowded. At the end of the day, Murdoch was looking forward to a good night's rest.
Well, obviously.
But Salty and Harvey were full of questions. What's the longest train you've ever pulled? Have you ever worked Marseille? Have you ever crashed? Please, I want some peace and quiet, and I don't want to share a shed with chatterboxes. No need to be rude, puffed Harvey. Hey, we're only being friendly, matey. The next morning, Murdoch collected another long, heavy train.
See, some of these stories, like, there was one about Edward and Rocky, and Edward was rude, and I just don't see that with Edward, and I don't like this version of Murdoch. This is why I prefer the CGI series, because the characters are true to their nature. Edward is really kind. Murdoch wasn't in the CGI series, but in the parodies, Murdoch is at least nicer.
How are you performing today? Don't bombard Mom, let her give her 20 minutes.
Checklist going off. And I guess in the CGI series, it's more nicer and less harsh, you know? So, yeah, that's just me, though.
This time, he chuffed into the beautiful countryside.
Okay.
It was splendid. At last, he had some peace and quiet.
Some people just like the peace and quiet. I don't personally.
Suddenly, his driver applied the brakes. There were sheep on the tracks. The sheep escaped from that field, said the driver.
No.
Through that broken fence. The driver and the fireman tried to chase the sheep back. First this way.
Oh, no.
And then that way.
They're not moving.
They tried everything, but nothing worked.
They won't move.
We'll never move these sheep by ourselves, complained the fireman. I'll go and phone for help, sighed the driver. Murdoch was very unhappy. The noisy sheep were spoiling his peace and quiet. Sir Topham Hatt was enjoying afternoon tea when he got the call. Sheep? He exclaimed loudly. I'll send Toby with the farmer immediately. The sheep were becoming noisier and noisier. Please stop, groaned Murdoch. I'd rather be back with the chatterbox engines.
Yeah, now who's complaining?
Toby chuffed into view. Toby, exclaimed Murdoch. We're certainly glad to see you. Before long, the farmer and his dog went to work. And the sheep were soon safely in their field.
Good.
And Murdoch was on his way again.
I like Toby.
Thanks, Toby.
He's a cute little Snoopy.
That evening, Murdoch parked between Harvey and
Is he
Salt.
gonna be rude again?
But Murdoch spoke first. I'm sorry that I was cross, he chuffed. I'm very pleased to share a shed with you. And we're very pleased to have your company, said Harvey. Aye, we are, added Salty. It reminds me of a story. Murdoch smiled. The sound of ba-ba would have kept him awake, but a salty story would send him happily to sleep.
I love that. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. This is K-Bear 101 signing out. Adios, everybody.